We all know that antioxidants are good for us. Everybody says, eat more antioxidants. They're healthy for your body. And everybody knows, at least for the most part, that they prevent your cells from being damaged. They say they combat free radicals and reactive oxygen species, and nobody knows what the hell that means, right? And, all that means in simple is they exert a protective effect on your cells and all the cells in your body. But a unique characteristic that a lot of people do not know about antioxidants, that is an oft overlooked benefit of them, really all of them, is the fact that they improve blood flow. So they don't just protect your cells, they improve blood flow. And improving blood flow is obviously important for the health of all of your tissues in your body, right? It's delivering oxygen and water and nutrients and vitamins and minerals and all sorts of good stuff to your muscles and to your brain and to your heart and to your lungs and all your organs, your digestive tract. And so improving blood flow is typically a good thing. Now, how do they do that, if you were curious? Well, they actually help to protect not only cells in themselves, but also an amino acid called nitric oxide. So they protect nitric oxide, which is something that opens up our blood vessels and improves blood flow, right, to the entire body. And so if they can protect it, well, it makes so much from being broken down, because it's a very unstable molecule. It's a gaseous amino acid. It's relatively unstable, right? So it's important to protect it, to have it functioning properly. And what's so interesting here is you find these antioxidants in a lot of these foods that also have things that are directly involved in the pathways that foster nitric oxide production. And some examples would be things like citrulline, which you find in high amounts in watermelon. Yellow watermelon has the most. The word citrulus means watermelon in Latin. Find in other foods too, right? But you find arginine in these foods. It's in the same pathway. It goes citrulline, arginine, nitric oxide. Nitrates, right, which become nitrites and nitric oxide. You find those in leafy greens and beets. And so instead of memorizing all these foods that you're like, which food is the highest in, say, carotenoids? All right, we all know carrots, also starchy vegetables, things like pumpkin, squash, right? Instead of memorizing that lycopene is in high amounts in tomatoes, and oleuropein and oleocanthal are in extra virgin olive oil, and you have a lot of flavonoids in berries, especially dark berries like blueberries or blackberries or raspberries and things of that nature. And leafy greens have a lot of these things. Egg yolk has the most lutein and zeaxanthin combined. They're all fancy names for antioxidants. And so what it means is eat the rainbow. And we've talked about that so many times here in Win Wellness, how really important that is. And if, again, you don't want to memorize, which I don't recommend memorizing which foods particularly have these, just know you want a colorful plate, and that almost all of them are found in plant-based foods, right? So we didn't mention any meat there. As great as meat is for body composition, and it's full of vitamins and minerals, such a robust nutrition profile, and heme, iron, which you absorb really well, and complete protein, which has all the building blocks of protein necessary that our bodies don't make, right? Well, just know if you were on a carnivore diet, we always talk about being deficient in folate and magnesium and vitamin E and vitamin C and fiber, right? Namely, those are probably the top 5 deficiencies you'll see with a carnivore diet. As great as it is, and I do a modified carnivore diet, you gotta eat the rainbow on top of that. Whether it's a shake, whether it's putting some berries and leafy greens in a salad with some nuts and seeds and whatever, right? But that is the concept here. And antioxidants, they pretty drastically, as far as the research goes, at least for people that, they eat healthy and they have a healthy lifestyle throughout their lives, reduce the risk of chronic disease, right? So they help to stop the initiation and progression of a wide range of chronic diseases, ranging from diseases that affect the liver or the lungs or the heart or the brain or the stomach or the GI tract, all your organs, right? And so that is my message for today. And I thought it was a really interesting thing that they all improve blood flow. And it's relatively rare to be able to look something up online and get a definitive answer that it always does this, that all of something do that, you know. And that's, to me, that's a very powerful statement when you can say all the time this happens. These all do that. And antioxidants, they all protect your cells, and they all improve blood flow, and you know, they do a lot to improve your health. So when people are looking for things that are good for their eye health, you know, they're looking for things that are good for brain health and heart and all these organs, right? Well, a lot of the things that they use, even in pharmaceutical drugs, are based off of antioxidants. Maybe they'll make them synthetic, but you know, that's where a lot of these medicines come from, and not all of them. And this isn't intended to treat, diagnose, cure, prevent any disease. No one wellness video ever is. It's just to give you some tools that, you know, you can use to improve your health and your life, right? But, you know, there are some fun facts, and hopefully now you see antioxidants in a different light than just things that combat reactive oxygen species and reduce oxidative stress. You know what the hell that means, right? So now you know a little bit of why, really, they're so good for you, okay? So eat the rainbow, my friends, if you're going to take something out of this. Who do we got on here? Hey, thank you, brother. Slim, you're the man, dude. I appreciate you a lot, Ben. Very much. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Is this all in one powder or supplement? Now, that's a really, really great question, right? Well, so what do we always say here at When Wellness, which is one of the absolute truest things I've ever told you guys? Get all of your nutrition, your vitamins and minerals, your protein, your healthy fats, your fiber, everything from food. First and foremost, as great of a supplement as Super U is, which has some antioxidants like vitamin C and selenium, right? Vitamins A, C, and E, they're also antioxidants. Maybe you guys didn't know that. And they're combined with things that improve blood flow, boost nitric oxide, like citrulline. So they make for a great synergy. But anyway, get it all from food, right? As great as I say Super, well, it is just a fact. Proof's in the pudding. Food is better than everything. Because look at the example before, where I said, also, what type of processing does food go through, right? If you have raw food, you know, and meat has some antioxidants too. I don't want to shit on meat in terms of antioxidants. You find some, but really it's majorly plant-based foods for the most part, right? So the example, again, that I made before of how things are combined, that work synergistically, that work well together and improve the effects of one another, are in these foods. Nature is extremely intelligent, and throughout evolution, it's evolved to have things combined that seem to work well together, right? So if you were to, example, have a powder that had just a nitric oxide booster and say it didn't have any antioxidants, right? Well, there's a reason that egg yolk has, you know, antioxidants and it has things that improve, but, you know, there's a reason that watermelon, right, has a lot of antioxidants and also the citrulline, right? There's a reason that nitrates are found in leafy greens and beetroot, and they also are loaded with antioxidants. They're also loaded with fiber, you know, they're also loaded with magnesium, right? And these are all things that we said you don't find in what? Well, a lot of them you don't find in meat. And as great as meat is, like I said, it's all about balance, right? You can have something as a focal point based on your goals for, say, improving body composition. Like I said, I do a modified carnivore, modified OMAD, that's 1 meal a day diet, right? And I hate the word diet. It's really a lifestyle with me. But, you know, don't try to overthink it. And if you go and you buy all these greens powders and things, sure, some are better than others. But what are you taking at the end of the day? Well, it is just a powder, right? It is just a powder, and you can only really get so much into that powder that, you know, would have otherwise been in the food that is meant to all work in synergy. So I wouldn't even recommend any sort of supplement that would have all of these, right? To replace anything. I would definitely get it from food. I can't drive that point home enough, really. Dave, what's up? Thanks, brother. Beast from the East, how you doing? That's great. I love it, man. I did, you see I'm sweaty. I got home recently. I did some glutes, right? I did some important to strengthen your posterior chain for posture and reducing low back pain, all sorts of things. You know, there's a lot of causes, low back pain. I'm not saying that's, you know, the only way to do it. But it's definitely one helpful thing in general. I did the hip thrust, right? I did some sets of that. I did a lot of pulses and holds and things. Some days I'll do full reps. Some days I'll do holds. Some days it's always different, always difficult. I'm always in full control. Parameters I maintain through every workout. I did some pike push-ups, holds and pulses and things. I did a few of these, overhead, lateral raises. You know, I did a little bit of a lot. I did weighted core with, 5 sets heavy, strong form, going down slow, all things like that. Yeah, King Reed. Yeah, definitely you're going to try the modified carnivore or the modified OMAD, or just eating healthier. Whatever it is, it sounds like it's going to be a good plan. And I wish you the best. If you have any questions, you can send me a message. You got to, man. Let's do that. Why don't we do that this week? Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Alfredo, UZ, what's up? I love you. This one's for you. You're the best. You are an excellent model of good health. You really are. Probably the best I know. Definitely the best I know. What's up, Shania? Master of War. Thank you for coming on again. I've seen you on here before. Josh Winter, what's up? Another OG. Tommy Reed, another one. Untapped. J3 Black. App State, another OG. Sevilla. There's your song, baby. Ephemeral transaction there, but nonetheless. Do I consider 37 the last stages of life? C9. I consider nothing the last stages of life. You're as young as you keep yourself, my friend. You also don't know what kind of research is going to come out in the future. Like I say, maybe you get a new brain. You never know what the hell's going to happen. But keep it healthy and don't bank on that, my fine feathered friends. So just keep yourself young, man. Movement, good nutrition, Welker, Alfonso, Duchenne. Thank you, Ken. Okay. Ass, what's up, pretty girl? Hope you had fun last night. XOXO, you're not too hungover. MM and Eli Murray. As for now. So we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have an amazing rest of your day. Happy Saturday. Happy When Wellness. See you later.